Now at 6, KCU Joplin students receive active shooter training to prepare for the possibility of a real event. Plus, Chris Warner provides an update on the construction of the new Cornell Center in Joplin. And reality TV stars visit Pittsburgh to promote a pro-life cause.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
KCU Joplin staff receive hands-on active shooter training following mass shootings across our nation. This is KOAM News at 6. KCU has been training their staff in the event of an active shooter since 2011, but says recently there has been more of a need for this type of training, more than ever. They've enlisted the help of Strategos International, a law enforcement training service.
It's always important. Shooting events are going to occur. And the more we're trained, the better we can respond to that, the better our situational awareness to what's around us, not just in a school setting, not just in a business setting, but at a restaurant.
Whaley says in these situations, it's crucial to not freeze, emphasizes the need for more training like this. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas and U.S. Congressman Mike Garcia introduced new legislation to provide more safety to schools. The Safe Schools Act allows COVID relief dollars to be used to provide more physical security to elementary and secondary schools. The security could range from locks, panic buttons, and hiring armed school resource officers. School systems all across the country received a combined $180 billion in relief and used only $30 billion of those funds. Let's check in with Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, we actually had a pretty good Thursday for us today. We have mostly sunny skies, and then our temperatures, they warmed up into the 80s, but clouds have increased over the past few hours. We have a band of showers and thunder showers, which are kind of zooming off toward the south and to the east, really pushing through southeastern Kansas. Nothing too strong, nothing severe, and you can see the overall trend here as they weaken, as they kind of work into the metro. They flare it up a little bit in our far western counties, but overall this is going to weaken as we go through the next few hours. But they are going to be out there for the next 2 or 3 hours. Then we're going to watch for a batch that gets going out across northwestern Kansas. This should affect about half of the region later on tonight. So half of you don't have to worry about storms. And of course, we're going to break down which half here in just a bit.
See you then. Officials with Connect to Culture say work on the Cornell complex in Joplin is nearing completion. KOIM's Chris Warner got a look at the progress so far.
13 years ago, what you're seeing now began as a dream. About a year and a half ago, that dream was turned into reality as ground was broken on the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Thursday, Clifford Wirt with Connect to Culture says that dream is 85% complete.
Major work being completed obviously on the inside and now starting on the exterior with all of the sidewalks and parking areas and expanding from the building south towards Memorial Hall with the Leggett and Platt Green.
Wirt says this complex is vital to Joplin's growth.
The high demand for people to live in this area and to have an amenity like a performing arts center and a visual arts center that's easily accessible is just going to make Joplin that much more of a dynamic community.
Wirt adds that this isn't just one person's dream being willed into reality, it's the efforts of a city.
This is the community. These are individuals, businesses, organizations, and foundations that are investing their private dollars into Joplin's economic future. And it just is so exciting to see then the ripple that is absolutely going to happen.
When it's done, Wirt says it's going to be a facility that has a continuous impact on the region.
It is a community asset that is going to not only serve the Joplin citizens, but it's going to attract people from across the area to come and enjoy both visual and performing arts, to be able to enjoy the outdoors, to be able to enjoy the indoors.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Wirt says they hope to move in by October and have an official opening in early November of this year. Missouri State Auditor Nicole Galloway gave a Jasper County city the lowest audit rating obtainable. Galloway identified significant weaknesses in Purcell that led to missing money. This comes after the former mayor pro tem Nancy Wilson pleaded guilty in January for misdemeanor stealing from the city. Authorities say Wilson wrote checks from the city and deposited them in her own bank account in March and April of last year. Galloway said, quote, "Our audit found a lack of oversight and segregation of duties by the former Board of Aldermen in Purcell that directly contributed to public funds being misappropriated," end quote. She said the current board has their work cut out for them to earn the trust of residents and that the audit has provided recommendations. Oklahoma County's top prosecutor says he's investigating whether a recent campaign ad by Governor Kevin Stitt violated state law and ethic rules. This is the wrong video. We can tell you that David Prater confirmed today he launched an investigation after a bipartisan group of House legislators suggested the ad violates state law. The 30-second spot titled "Track Record" touts Stitt's appointment of Attorney General John O'Connor, who's prominently featured in the second half of the ad. State law prohibits a candidate from knowingly making or accepting a contribution of more than $2,900 to another candidate committee. Stitt's campaign says it will pause airing that ad. Now, an infant who disappeared in 1981 has been found alive and well in Oklahoma. The bodies of baby Holly's parents were found in a wooded area of Houston 40 years ago, but they couldn't be identified at the time. Their murders were a cold case mystery for 4 decades. Then last year, a company that offers DNA services to law enforcement was able to positively identify the bodies. At the time of their deaths, the couple had a 1-year-old daughter named Holly, who was not found with her parents' bodies. Well, according to a release from the Texas Attorney General's office, she was recently located in central Oklahoma on what would have been her father's birthday. Now 42 years old, that little girl. It remains unclear what happened to Holly 4 decades ago and how she ended up in Oklahoma. The investigation into the murders of Holly's parents, well, that's still ongoing. Coming up, reality TV stars take a trip to Pittsburgh to promote a pro-life cause. Plus, the Carthage, Missouri Chamber celebrates a big birthday. Kansas pro-life organization today brought their message to Pittsburgh. The guest speakers for an event at St. Mary's Colgan High School included Lisa and Alan Robertson from the TV show Duck Dynasty. They're participating in a campaign called Value Them Both. It's in support of a proposed change to the Kansas state constitution that would permit the state to adopt stricter anti-abortion laws.
Hoping that this helps all citizens in Pittsburgh to get engaged with the Value Them Both campaign to protect moms and babies and really help them understand how this is an issue that every Kansan, no matter where they are on the issue of abortion, should engage in.
The proposed amendment will appear on Kansas ballots on August 2nd. Happy birthday, Carthage Chamber of Commerce. This party today marked the birthday's 90th birthday, complete with cake and other assorted goodies. It also included some award presentations as a celebration of what the Chamber brings to the business community.
We work hard every day on making sure we're taking care of our customers, that they feel welcome. And this will just help to solidify that that's important in our community. And it's important for all of us to be involved in our community. We urge our people, we've got people who work for us who are on fair boards and on various boards throughout the area. And this will just solidify that that's very important.
The general public was invited to that celebration at Carthage Central Park. Organizers for the Four States Music Festival announced their plans and strategy for the event. The festival is going to be held at Pitt State in September. It's being organized by Social House Entertainment and will feature country music artists, including Chase Rice and Parmalee. Organizers say the event will be beneficial to local businesses.
But I'm just excited to see the businesses and organizations kind of capitalize on the opportunity coming out of the pandemic, getting people back together again, seeing the university obviously benefit from this event.
Organizers also say they hope to make that festival an annual event. A little bit later, details about, well, I'll tell you what we're going to have next. We're going to have weather up next. Doug Heddy.
Yes, We are going to do weather next. We are going to talk about more thunderstorm chances for us tonight. Well, it turned out to be another warm one once again today, back into the 80s for afternoon highs. But the clouds have increased over the past couple hours. We have some scattered showers, a few thunder showers, which are dropping through. So you can see those clouds thickening up. Lander, Chevrolet, Cadillac, and out of Joplin, Missouri, southeast side of the city. All right, we do have a low severe threat. And this is for tonight, late tonight into tomorrow morning, as we do get a batch of storms which is going to drop in. This is mainly after 2 o'clock in the morning till 7 in the morning. I'm going to keep all the threats low. I'm not overly concerned about this, but something I want to watch. Also, we have flash flood watches in effect across Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and extreme southwestern Missouri, just due to the ground super saturated across the region. Look at this band kind of dropping through and dying as it works in. You can see that leading edge really just kind of falling apart once it gets into the metro. Now, where you see the yellows, that is at least moderate showers, some little thunder showers out there. We can zoom in, a few light little showers, really right through Joplin, then it kind of picks up a little bit once you get into southeastern Kansas, Parsons up toward Erie, a little bit stronger just to the west of Fredonia, Chanute, Iola, Yates Center, and then these extend farther west into Greenwood County for Eureka. These are going to slide through. Next couple hours, not a big deal, and then we'll dry out later on this evening. Temperatures mainly sitting into the upper 70s. 7th and rangeline currently sitting at 77. South winds at 5. Humidity at 60%. Through the evening hours, slide back through the 70s, eventually into the mid-60s later on tonight. So once this dies, we're going to focus our attention back toward the west, where we should get a batch of thunderstorms again later on tonight across northwestern parts of Kansas. But I really think these are going to stay on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Let's go through time. Here's 2 a.m. working into southeastern Kansas, and especially our extreme southwestern counties. So Fredonia, Independence, maybe over toward Parsons, Chautauqua, and then kind of picking up in northeastern Oklahoma. But look at the metro. This may skirt right on by and not even give us a drop in Pittsburgh or Joplin, but it's going to be close. But some of these storms that do work in could be strong to low-grade severe. If we had anything strong or severe, we're looking at gusty winds near 60 and some quarter-size hail, and then these kind of skirt right on by. But I think most of the severe weather is actually going to stay kind of from Veneta back toward the south into the west. But we are going to get some isolated thunderstorms in here, especially on the Missouri side, late morning into the early afternoon. So we got to keep our eyes on that. But I really think the big batch right now is mainly going to stay in our southwestern counties. 74 by noon, high temp, right around 84 as we go into the afternoon hours. Temperatures start to really heat up too over the next few days. 88 on Saturday, 92 by Sunday. Much drier pattern. The heat, the 90s kick in, but also the humidity is going to be up there. So we're talking about heat indices kind of high as we go into next week.
Yeah, it's typical, but it's still unfortunate.
It is. It's June.
Yes, it is. That is well. Thanks, Doug. Here's a look at our tower camera sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Actually, look at this. If your signal at KOAM or Fox 14 becomes kind of glitchy next week, guess what? That's a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna for a while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our power. It's going to be the final step in our More Power project. It'll allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to again see us. If all goes as planned, we're going to be back up and stronger than ever by the end of June. The end of that tower, that old tower, that smaller tower, is a bit of an end of an era, but also the beginning of a brand new one. Still ahead, the Oklahoma Sooners aim to earn a softball national championship tonight, and Frontenac head baseball coach Bill Sullivan decides to step away from coaching after 24 years leading the Raiders. Jacob Leonard has that story and more up next.
Well, after an off day on Wednesday, the Joplin Outlaws return to the field tonight. The Outlaws are on the road this evening, facing the Sedalia Bombers in a Mink League South Division matchup. Now, Joplin is 2-3 in their first 5 games of the season. Tonight's game is the first of 19 straight games for the Outlaws before their next day off. The first pitch for this one is at 7 o'clock. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. Well, Frontenac head baseball coach Bill Sullivan is moving on from coaching. Sullivan has resigned as head coach after 24 years of leading the Raiders baseball program. Now, earlier this spring, Sullivan earned his 300th win as Frontenac's head coach. He finishes his career with 305 total wins in those 24 years. On top of that, Sullivan led the Raiders to 4 CNC League titles, 3 appearances in the state tournament, and the program's first ever state title in 2012.
I've just been fortunate to be in such a great community, great support from people, and all the relationships I built from this sport and this town has been huge. And I just feel glad that I was able to do something to make them proud. Some of my best friends right now are guys that played for me my first year. And, they're not that much younger than I am, and I'm good friends with them, and they become really close. And I think it's going to be tough driving by here on a game day on my way into school and seeing the field and knowing there's going to be a game there that night, and I'm not going to be a part of it.
The St. Louis Cardinals finish up an 8-game road trip today, wrapping up a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Cards try to avoid the sweep this afternoon after dropping the first 2 to Tampa. St. Louis comes home for 7 straight after today's series finale. Not able to get anything going early today. Couple strikeouts here. The game was scoreless until the 4th. Now in the 4th, Tampa gets the first 2 runs of the day. Ji-Man Choi drills a laser to right, clears the wall for the 2-run homer. Cards face a 2-run deficit. St. Louis gets one back, but then in the 9th, Tyler O'Neill grounds into the double play, leaving one stranded. And that ends the ball game. Cards get swept by the Rays, dropping the finale 2-1. Now in the American League, the Kansas City Royals open a series tonight against Baltimore. Now the Royals coming off an 8-4 win over the Blue Jays last night, just their 4th win in the last 19 games. Tonight's game against the Orioles will begin at 7:10 in Kansas City. The Oklahoma Sooners have a chance to earn a softball national championship tonight. The Sooners hit the field against Texas this evening, Game 2 of the Women's College World Series Finals. Now, Oklahoma rolled Texas last night 16-1 in Game 1. Now, a win this evening would give the Sooners their 6th national title in program history. That game will start here in just a few minutes in Oklahoma City. We'll have the latest right here tonight at 10. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after the break.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Leonard Gaston served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1937 to 1957. Pittsburgh native was stationed in the South Pacific and in Korea, and we salute Leonard Gaston, a 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The House Committee investigating the Capitol riot last year holds its first televised hearing tonight. Also, substantial pilot shortages mean the summer travel season hits a snag before it even begins. And a new golf tour with a controversial financial backer could wind up becoming a rival to the PGA. That and a lot more is coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Doug, final look at the weather.
Well, we are going to have scattered thunderstorms this evening into the overnight hours for us tonight. But look at this, heating up and drying out for the weekend.
That'll be nice, warm but nice. Hey, don't forget, CBS News is covering the hearings of the January 6th Capitol attacks. That's going to be covered live. You can watch it right here on KOAM beginning at 7 p.m. 30 minutes. See you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by the